I need more episodes of Letterkenny.
The last one really pissed me off.
Yeah, that ending was not as pleasing as I wanted it to be.
No, it was fucking terrible.
But the season as a whole was pretty good.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Like, just the jokes that were made were fucking funny. The things that happened outside of the jokes the plot line was not great, but I'll take the jokes all day.
Try to crack an egg, bet you can't. Fuck you, Shorzy. The hockey scenes are some of the best in that one.
Oh, I think there might be the best in the entirety of the show.
He's just talking mad shit to the girls' team.
I think my favorite quote from that show is still the "Fuck you guys, your life is so pathetic. I fucking held a charity 5K to raise awareness for it." Fucking kill me.
Fuck you, Shorzy.
Oh my god. That show is... I don't know how that show is the funniest show in the entire world, but it is.
It's fucking good.
It's up there with, like, Always Sunny. Always Sunny might take the crown.
Oh, I think it does, because it was a show that pioneered just psychopaths.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that's actually probably... Because there were shows that were funny before that were, like, built around... like just really awkward dynamics, but that one really pushed it all the fucking way over the edge.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's about Philadelphia, if you've ever been to Philadelphia, you know the people, and they're nice people, but that is a fucking aggressive group of humans coming out of Philly.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, and so it just hits that Philadelphia demographic so square on the head. It just gives it that extra level of like, oh, that is exactly Philly.
Yep, that's Philly.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Good thing I had my pieces on me, because I pulled out my guns and started blasting. Fucking Christ.
But he's eating a fucking sandwich on live TV.
May I offer you an egg in these trying times?
Yes. Finn, please don't start whining, dude.
We're just going to turn into Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Letterkenny fan show.
I'm fine with that.
We just sit down and we watch an episode of each, and then just commentary like over top of it, like Mystery Science Theater style. What is up, you stale leftovers? Welcome back to another episode of the Fetch and Shock podcast. I am your host, the line outside of Macy's on Black Friday, Tyler. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, the exact same deals that you can just get on Cyber Monday and not wait in the line, Matt. Matt, what is going on, my man?
What's up, my dude?
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was relaxing, except that it wasn't, and I had to go to 4 different places on Thursday. And then
you told me about your Thanksgiving. You had to drive like a majority of that week.
Yeah. We got in Wednesday night, visited Wednesday, went a bunch of places on Thursday, went back to my parents, left Friday at about 2 o'clock.
I mean, that's the curse of American Thanksgiving, just being on a Thursday permanently.
Well, yes, but it also didn't help that Lauren had work on Saturday.
Yeah, so your wife had to do like her job. Yeah. That makes sense. But I it's always like thrown me that like, we're just going to say the last Thursday of November, always Thanksgiving, never not Thanksgiving. Let's go. And like, I'm cool with that just because I never have anything in the way of that. But if people just have like normal jobs, they have to do those things during the week.
I could not imagine being a worker on Black Friday anywhere. That would be a nightmare.
That is like 100% the reason why I would never ever work in retail, because every year around this time, specifically this time of year, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, your life has to just be a living hell.
I can't imagine dealing with all the fucking Karens of the world.
Oh my God. Every single angry white mother going into like a fucking Macy's or JCPenney's going to try to get something and it's not there, and her just throwing a fit.
Well, people have gotten trampled to death. People have gotten stabbed, shot, tasered by other fucking people.
The Tickle Me Elmo era, like people died for that fucking stuff.
Oh my God, I remember that.
And that thing was creepier than a motherfucker, and people died for that.
Yes.
Like, just imagine, we live in that society that instead of living, like people will risk life and limb to get a child's toy.
It's basically like a real life purge.
Yeah. And just for a deal. Just for like
saving $30. Not even, yeah. Like I've gone Black Friday shopping. I've gone out Thursday nights before. I've done that to get like laptops and TVs. but I was in like high school and college
when you were broke.
Yeah.
I
But
think I
even
got the
then,
TV once on Black Friday.
now you can do it from the comfort of your friggin' pajamas.
Yeah, I got it 30% off, and like I had to actually go get the TV, and like that was kind of a pain in the ass. I had to wait in lines, and I hate lines more than anything in the world. Like I refuse to go to amusement parks because I hate lines.
You got to spend the extra like $100 and get the fast passes when you do that.
I'd rather just not go.
See, roller coasters are too much fun. But yeah,
I
now
like
you
roller
can get it
coasters.
shipped to your fucking house. You don't even have to walk to your door, and that's about it.
Yeah, like all you have to do is just sit there and wait. You have to count seconds until they put it on a truck and then drive it to you, and then they give it to you, and you're like, oh, well, thank you for that thing that I wanted.
Yeah, it's crazy how much money Amazon makes during this time of the year in comparison to other times. Now, granted, they make a fuck ton of money all the time.
Oh yeah, it's just permanently infinite money for them.
But this time it's just like crazy.
It's double infinite money for them during the holiday season.
They hire so many additional like delivery drivers just for the season.
Do they really? I guess they would need to hire more staff just because there is such a
big
influx of people wanting to purchase things.
Yeah. You want to talk about Magic?
You
want to talk about the financial status of Amazon and Jeff Bezos?
Oh, it is actually, we are the Fetch and Shock Jeff Bezos podcast now. We just get to talk about how he makes way more money.
He's actually coming on next week onto the podcast.
Oh my God, he's I can't believe you spoiled our secret guest for next week. It's Jeff Bezos.
Spoiler alert, Jeff.
Well, I mean, like Amazon has Black Friday deals too, right? Or is it really Cyber Monday for them?
It's probably just Cyber Monday shit.
I feel like they probably just did it all weekend.
Yeah, like there's places doing it like, oh, all month of November now is like you get crazy deals. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's not even a point in going to get stabbed for Tickle Me Elmo because you can just do it the next day.
Yeah, I would never buy another laptop on Black Friday for the mere fact of within a year, it's generally a piece of shit and way outdated.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the nature of technology too.
Yeah.
But you know what's a deal that you can get year-round?
Nope.
Well, you don't even have to get stabbed for this too, which is amazing. This is just something you can get 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you go to flipsidegaming.com, you can get 10% off your order. Whatever you want. If you want to get some singles, you want to get some Magic Seal, you want to get some sleeves, you want to get a booster box to draft with your friends while they're home for the holidays, you can do that. And it doesn't even have to be Black Friday or Cyber Monday. You just go on the website.
Cyber Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
It's Cyber Century for you. Yes. Just every single day. Infinite time. You just have to go onto the website, go to checkout, and use code FETCH at checkout. You get 10% off of whatever the hell you're going to order.
Seems pretty good.
We are saving your lives. 2 weeks ago, we saved you infinite money. Then we were giving you financial
millions
advice.
Of dollars, actually.
Yeah, literally thousands of millions of dollars. And now we're saving your lives.
Yes, which arguably is priceless.
I would say so. When are we going to become saints?
I was about to say we're on our way to sainthood.
Is that something that happens?
I think so.
I love that. Well, there was actually, I don't actually give a shit about anything along those lines, but the Baltimore City diocese or whatever it's called, they have a bishop there, and he went to the Vatican to see the Pope, and he brought the Pope his own Ravens jersey signed by Lamar Jackson.
That's pretty dope.
It is the coolest shit I've ever seen in my entire. I was like, this is the best thing ever. So if you had any reason to not root for the Baltimore Ravens, that means you're rooting against God himself. So good luck with that, bud. Have fun winning football games against God. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we could talk about Magic now.
I'd rather talk about that than religion and fucking Baltimore Ravens.
No, I would rather talk about the Ravens. Wait, we could do the Fetch and Shock Baltimore Ravens podcast whenever they win the Super Bowl. I'd be cool with that.
You could do the Fetch, talk about the Ravens.
Titus Lunter, Magic artist, famous for doing almost all of the fucking invocations, like the Wrath of God one and stuff. Great digital artist. Also Baltimore Ravens fan, so
a piece of shit. Don't buy his shit anymore.
Whoa. You can't say that. You can't do that.
And I did.
So we have let's move on to Magic stuff, I guess. We have some things to talk about. Do you want to talk about the actual Magic news that happened this week?
Yeah, you can do that, I suppose.
Sure, let's move into
here for
the Pioneer bands for this week.
Oh, thank
The,
fucking Christ, man.
the weekly Pioneer bans, as if that's something that we're not sick of talking about yet.
Those things needed banned. Let's be very honest about that.
Okay, that's fair. So what was banned in Pioneer? It was Once Upon a Time, Field of the Dead, and Smuggler's Copter. And in the little article that Ian Duke puts out every Monday, he goes into at least a little bit more detail about why the things were banned. And for at least Smuggler's Copter and Field of the Dead, they were banned because either the aggro decks or like the combo-y decks were really stifling the development of control decks. And then Once Upon a Time was just making green decks too good, and the ubiquity of green decks with Once Upon a Time was kind of taking over the format. So for format diversity, Once Upon a Time was banned. What all of this reads is that they want control decks to be a part of this.
Yeah, they don't want just lands decks. And the thing about lands is they only ever get better. They are never going to get worse. They're going to print more and more lands.
Yeah.
It's going to be easier to make lands decks. I wish it would be cool if they like restricted it, like restricted Field of the Dead.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then you just like the only way to really ensure that you like win with that is if you do like a scape shift kind of thing.
And even then, you could still just lose to a Wrath.
Yeah, you could still just like get wrecked. Yeah,
but they're not going to do the restricted thing.
No, never. You make a really good point though, saying that lands only get better, because that's true. Like unless you ban, like there's a 2-card combo with like one land and another land, and you ban one land, then I guess the other land shut down. But yeah, lands are never going to get worse. Besides, like depending on what's put in the format.
Well, unless talking about lands,
straight,
I do want
Wasteland.
I saw decks that were running that new Lotus Veil. I forget what the name of it is, but and Thespian Stage to just make stupid mana.
That's sweet. Yeah, because Thespian Stage just becomes a copy of it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to sacrifice it because it's already on the battlefield. That's pretty cool. I like that.
I saw that.
Like
that one was neat. Well, it's not degenerately broken. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna make a bunch of mana.
Yeah, whatever you can do with that mana. Also, that is some steps to get to that. But just it is in theory very, very sweet.
Yes. But yeah, and then Smuggler's Copter, that card should have never been printed. It's in that list of just things that are so hard to answer. Yeah, you put answers in your deck, guess what? It still fucking digs for cards.
Oh, yeah.
It still filters. It's super aggressive. Literally can be played in any deck with creatures.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're toying with a new mechanic and trying to push to see exactly how powerful it can be. And without them having the information of the entire Magic the Gathering community behind them, they were like, okay, this card's fine. And then printed it. And then people got a hold of it and realized, oh, no, this card is fucking gross. So we're just going to go ahead and bust this thing wide open. Because they never had anything quite like Crew before in Magic. So that was completely uncharted territory.
Yeah, that loots for literally doing nothing but attacking or blocking, which is what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah,
but I think if it didn't have that ability and it was just a 3/3 for Crew 1, that's a little
3/3
different.
flyer for Crew 1, I think that would be fine. But the fact that it draws you it kind of draws you a card, filters your draw.
Yeah, loot.
Yeah, that is just very, very powerful.
And then Once Upon a Time, I don't think that needs any explanation of why that got banned.
Oh yeah, free spells, and it's just like a green draw spell. Like that's fine. Yeah. That's just something that's cool.
Instant dig 5 to find something.
Man, like that card, I think just on its surface was just so powerful. How can you even put up with it?
I did call that card was going to be very good.
Yeah, oh yeah, that card's like just nuts. Just reading it, you're like, wait, hold on, what does it do? Like you have to reread it multiple times.
Can literally play it for free, turn 1.
But here's my thing too. After these ban and restriction announcement came out, I had a revelation, and I think I am done thinking about decks that I would want to play in Pioneer until we get out of this. Like the only way that I can describe it is like a beta test for Pioneer is what it seems like. Like people are working out the quote unquote bugs for the format. Once all the bugs are worked out and it is ready for the full release, then I'm in for Pioneer. I will keep an eye on Pioneer and I will look at the bans and look where the format's at, but I am not going to actually play Pioneer again until we're out of this like quote unquote beta test stage.
See, I agree with you, but then again, I don't agree with you. I bought stuff for Blue-White Control that they're not going to ban. If they do ban something, it'll be 3-ball to fairy.
Yo, that card's really good.
But the deck doesn't rely around that. Where some of these decks
I think
are
Dig
literally
is probably not long for this world too.
Well, it's been taking a long ass time. I believe you and Beatty were like, "Oh, it's getting banned next week." Bitch,
No, I did not say.
It's been 2 months.
I gave it 6 months though.
We're in month 3, boy.
We're in month like 2.5.
When did Pioneer come out?
I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to fact check us on that.
I'll fucking fact check it right now.
No, I think that card is very good. I haven't seen Treasure Cruise pop up in as many lists though, so maybe I was wrong about Treasure Cruise.
October 21st.
Yeah, it's more like 2 months in a week. There's still a lot of time, and I don't think the format's even going to be close to done banning for another at least 2 to 3 months, maybe longer.
I think they said 2020
is when they're going to be done doing the bannings.
The weekly bannings.
The weekly bannings. I think that's going to be addended. Like, I think that is going to be something that has changed.
Well, they knocked out a bunch of the super strong, broken shit.
Yeah, the very obvious stuff, sure. But I think there's still a lot of ground to cover. Like, there are still cards that were banned in their standard formats that are still legal in Pioneer, namely Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise.
Those were not banned in their standard formats.
Oh, no, they weren't. They were banned during their time in standard.
In other formats.
And we still have Nexus of Fate in Pioneer.
I don't think that's an issue.
Oh, I think that card could potentially be a big problem.
A lot of counterspells and a lot of good counterspells in Pioneer where there wasn't in that standard format.
But I think the combination of Nexus of Fate and Dig Through Time is a very, very powerful combination.
Well, Dig Through Time is objectively powerful, and so is Treasure Cruise, but
so is Nexus of Fate, honestly.
They're not being broken. That's what I mean.
Broken yet. But we just went through a Monday of bannings.
Yeah,
we'll see. The format's got to figure it out after that.
Some of the things that made those cards so good are fetch lands, super cheap cantrips.
Yeah, but we also have this format, what is just slower than the formats that those cards were Bandit initially.
Those cards turned Thought Scour into a cantripping Dark Ritual. Do you understand that?
Oh yes, I totally get that.
And fetch lands, that takes out a good chunk of cards.
Yeah, but you have to admit that Pioneer as a format is much slower than the formats that it was in.
Exactly. I don't think they're overpowered. They're very good.
I think the power level is still there. Just people are not interacting with it as quickly. And I think with bands like Smuggler's Copter and stuff, that is stymieing the aggressive decks, which is going to make Dig Through Time more powerful. Like Mono Black Devotion was the best deck in the format when Smuggler's Copter was a thing, just because Mono Black could just get in there and kill you before you even got to a chance to cast your Dig Through Time. But when you start getting to the point of the format where people are getting to cast their Dig Through Times and their Treasure Cruise, that's when we get to see how busted those cards actually are.
Here's my theory. You can agree or disagree with it. Dig Through Time is good in combo decks. There are not very many combo decks.
Okay.
Treasure Cruise is really good in prowess type decks where you want to cast a lot of spells, and once they're in your graveyard, it's just fodder to refill your hand. There's not a lot of those in Pioneer either.
I would say that Treasure Cruise is good in decks that just in the late game want more cards. Like any control deck would probably want something.
Control decks actually do not play Treasure Cruise.
Do they play Dig?
They play Dig Through Time because it's instant.
Oh, that makes sense
and
to me.
You get the choice of 7 cards.
So then maybe, like I said before, I think they could ban Treasure Cruise or Dig Through Time and not Treasure Cruise. I think Dig Through Time is probably just because of the speed of the format, which it's being pushed toward.
It's possible, but I don't see it happening. Not anytime soon.
Yeah, I think Dig Through Time is probably not too much longer in the format, but I guess we'll see. Again, I'm not going to be playing this format, and at least until if you said that they're done doing the weekly bans.
They did. I thought I saw that somewhere where there's like a date where they're like, hey, once this hits, we're not going to do like weekly bans unless there's like an emergency banning. I could be wrong.
Sure, no, there very well might be. You could, yeah, but I can't tell you that you are wrong or that you're right. But once we get to that point, I will be happy to start actually playing this format, because then I don't have to worry about the deck that I'm playing being built a certain way to beat the format, or a deck that I'm playing losing an entire card because of a ban.
I do like the way they did this, though. They want to see what actually is broken and what is not. There was stuff on the modern ban list for a very long time that did not need to be on the ban list. Fucking Wild Nikotl was on the ban list.
Yes. I mean, and to a lesser extent, like Bloodbraid Elf.
Yeah, Bloodbraid Elf, Jace.
Yeah, Jace.
Ancestral Visions.
Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, well, that one's relatively.
But I mean, look at the splash it's having in Modern.
Yeah, there's only been one thing that's come off the ban list that went back on the ban list.
Troll, right?
Grave Troll, yeah.
Yep, Golgari Grave Troll. But I do agree the way that they're doing it, the way that they're rolling it out, it's just like, okay, the format, we know that we don't want fetch lands. Everything else, free game, you guys figure it out. And as you guys are figuring it out, we will cut things out. I really do like the way that they set out to do it. That does not mean that I want to play that format where I have to worry about a deck that I really am invested into getting banned, because that's how I like to play formats. I like to get really into a deck and get really proficient with that particular deck. Other people like to just play whatever is out there that is good.
Besides the cat combo, there's only been one card. Well, everyone knew the cat combo wasn't going to stay around, but there's only one card that's been banned that actually like shut off a deck, and that was the Field of the Dead.
Yeah, well, what about the energy card?
What energy card?
Didn't Attune with Aether get banned? I think. Are you talking about Oathiness?
No. Oathiness is the one that's banned. That's
so Attune with Aether is still there.
Yeah, it's the Oathinissa, which lets you play 5-color planeswalkers.
Yes, that is
on curve without giving a fuck about your mana.
Well, speaking of Attune with Aether, do you think energy is something that can probably be a thing?
I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah, maybe if they're, but when they weed out all of the like the busted aggressive stuff and all the combo stuff, do you think it will maybe find a home? I think it could.
It's possible, but it's not very great. The best thing you can get are some Ulamogs and Emrakuls, and there's a lot of bounce spells in this format. Two of which being named Teferi.
Yeah,
just
Teferi is a guy.
Your fucking face. It's like, okay, yep, I'll tuck your creature. I'll destroy that. Good luck.
Teferi is just such a bussin' Magic card. And the 3 mana and the 5 mana, honestly, they're both just so good.
The 3 mana is way better.
Mm-hmm.
That deck just shuts off control decks. I'm really surprised that one's still here.
It really hasn't made that big of a splash in the format, honestly.
Well, it literally protects combos. It's the
but
best
that
version.
card by on its surface is disgusting Magic card. It is so good.
Yeah, it's not, you can't play spells unless it's your turn. You can only play spells as though they were a sorcery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
the card is
good.
Here's
a fun little interaction that actually shuts off Ancestral Visions.
Yeah, because it's cast it. Well,
I mean,
that's
upkeep.
Not in Pioneer, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just in general. It like there's a lot of shit like that. It's like, oh fuck, yeah, cast your spell.
Splash damage for sure. But now that we're talking about this, I think this is a good segue. Now that we're talking about the kind of like power levels of cards, there has been some discussion recently on the effect that power creep has had on specifically white cards in Magic. And this was actually brought up to us by friend of the podcast, Dave Morris. So shout out to Dave. And he was asking us about discussing kind of the issue with how to fix white as far as it relates to the power creep of other colors, at least in standard printings. And I guess Modern Masters is another like pseudo eternal printings of cards. Just white just doesn't seem to be getting that much love.
No, and I think there's a reason for that.
I would love to hear the reason, because this was actually something that I thought was going to be good to talk about, because I am very pro white and Matt is on the other side of the fence.
White is hands down the best support color. Hands down. It has fucking Haymaker hate cards. Haymaker.
Sure.
Rest in peace. Stony Silence. Those are two of the best fucking cards. Leyline of Sanctity.
Oh, I can name a million hate cards that you can
all
use.
All these enchantments literally just shut decks the fuck down.
Yeah.
There are games of Magic where you could go turn 2 Stony Silence or turn 2 Rest in Peace
and win on the spot. And
they just can't do anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. But you just said it's the best support color.
Yes, I think that they were moving towards that to begin with.
Well, it's one of the 5 colors of Magic. I don't think you want one of the 5 main components of your game to only be there as a supplementary thing for whatever the other 4 fucking colors are doing. I think that's a bad look.
Just because you can't play mono white?
No, just because you are labeling a color as lesser than the other 4.
I didn't say it was lesser.
That is inherently what the term support color means, though. Because it's only there as a supplement to the main other color.
Though, some of those decks would suck big bag of dicks.
Sure, but it still can't be a primary color, is what you're saying.
It's not true. I said it's the best support color. I didn't say it couldn't be a primary color.
I mean, but the term support.
Well, let's be fair. White is not a primary color. Hashtag art degree. But
you're the worst.
I know. I think white is fine. I did see some things where it can't draw cards. Okay, cool. White shouldn't be able to draw cards. Granted, they've been fucking with the color pie.
Almost every other color has had a card recently they draw.
Now they can. And you asked me before, what's the best draw spell in white? And it really is Stoneforge Mystic. That's the best draw spell, in my opinion.
There's a couple other ones. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Well, let's continue to talk about what are the issues with white and what can we do to bring white to at least the same level as the other colors. Because I don't think that they are. That white is at that level.
A hate color. It is to cut people out of games. It is to get in there before they can do anything and lock them out. What is the main theme with white? I'll answer for you. Fucking hate bears.
No, I think the main theme in white is balance. Not the card, but the concept of balance.
I know what you meant.
So you're
that
balancing.
Is the best white card ever printed, though, by the way.
Yeah, balance is a very, very good Magic card. Especially in white. Swords of Plowshares might be better than balance.
Definitely not.
I don't know. That's a discussion for another day. But white, I think white, the main focus should be the balance of boards. So even just using the card balance as an example, it brings a parity to everything that's going on. So everybody has the exact same amount of resources when balance resolves. They should use that concept, maybe not to the extent of balance, because that card's obviously far too good, but just that concept of balance to be used, and a concept of like order in that same sense of balance. Like Thalia is a great example of that. Like, oh, we're playing creatures now. So if you want to not do that, you have a tax, quote unquote tax to pay. So shout out to Death and Taxes. And there are a million other cards that do that kind of balance thing where we're bringing the game to the level that, to the base level of how we're going to play it. So there's cards that make you only draw one card per turn with like the Eidolon. There's another Eidolon that says you can only play one spell per turn. Was it Deafening Silence says you can only play one non-creature spell per turn?
Yeah.
Like that's a core concept of white card. But we're just not seeing that being like flexed as much as we're seeing other core concepts in Magic. There is also a way that you could make white draw spells. Like you can make green ones. Look at that. What's the one, Beast Hunter or whatever it's called? It's literally just a 4-mana creature with Glimpse of Nature is the card.
Oh, that's not a 4-mana spell.
No, that there's a creature that just printed with literal Glimpse of Nature on it.
Oh, Glimpse of Nature is just better. It costs 1 mana.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they printed a green creature recently with literally the text of Glimpse of Nature on it, which is whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. So green has draw. So you can't say that like, oh, well, that's not typically a green thing to do. Well, but it is now.
It has something added on where it's not just draw a card. Yeah. You have to do something.
You could do a creature that's kind of like Rhystic Study, that if when an opponent casts a spell, if they don't pay that one, you draw a card. I think that'd be a-okay. Like Rhystic Study is a white card.
See, one of the thing that I thought would be best for drawing cards, because that's where it really comes down to, where white loses to other colors, but I think they have better hate permanents and shit like that. So there is balance in between there. It's just a different type of balance. If you want to specifically just talk about card drawing ability, yes, very clearly white is lacking in that aspect.
I think it's lacking in a bunch of aspects, but I'm saying that if you're
what other aspects are it actually lacking in?
Well, at least with direct removal spells, white does not have it anymore. Not even in the slightest. Everything is sorcery speed and like 3 mana. Like just removal does not exist in white. The creature size in white, it's all been moved. I mean, again, no, we're talking about recent printings. We're not talking about past printings. Because if we went into that whole thing, white has balance, white has Swords of Plowshares, white has Path of Exile, white has a bunch of fucking really powerful cards. But in the
everything is 3 mana. The only 1 mana good removal spell that's been printed recently is Fatal Push.
But we've also had like a Braid printed recently,
which is a red thing. That's a red thing.
Yeah, but that card's still nuts.
Yeah, but if that was in white and it said 2 mana, you have Deccan Stone, for example. That's a 2 mana, exiles a bunch of creatures.
Exiles, a bunch of copies of creatures. I wouldn't say a bunch of creatures.
Well, no, it hits everything. It's just, but if it does hit each copy of it, It is a path-like effect. There's
And
other
swords
shit.
receive, yeah.
It's just they can't reprint path or swords because
No,
people
just like
would
they
lose
can't
their
reprint
fucking
lightning
minds.
bolt. But they're also not giving white any power level in any other context of the game.
Remove or sweepers. They have the best sweepers.
In like how recently, what sweepers have they had?
Ixalan.
Are you talking about the settler wreckage?
Yeah, that's an instant speed, basically sweeper.
Sure, but even with that, like, okay, you're naming one card out of every other card that Magic has gotten. Like,
That's
I
what
would
I'm
say
saying. They have
you can't
they
even
have
print,
sweepers. They might not have spot removal anymore. They have sweepers. I agree that they do not have. Recently, they haven't printed good spot removal for that. They really haven't printed good cheap spot removal outside of Fatal Push that is 1 mana.
Oh, they're not going to ever reprint spot removal that's 1 mana.
That's what I mean. Like they tried with Fatal Push and they're like, hey, this is really fucking good.
Yeah, but they're moving towards the 2 mana removal spells. But the 2 mana ones that have happened recently, like a Braid, like Assassin's
That's not
Trophy.
even that recent. The most recent one is
Assassin's Trophy is a vintage like playable card.
Yes, it hits all purpose, and that kind of has the black green. It's Abrupt Decay, only you can counter it, and it doesn't destroy. It exiles, or no,
Sure.
It destroys. It doesn't exile.
It destroys, yeah.
So spot removal, I think white could get another card, but anything 2 mana, everyone's just gonna say, "Oh, this isn't good," because they're used to the fucking bee's knees of removal. They're used to Plow and Path, which are literally the 2 best spot removal spells.
But I'm saying, like, even for the context of like Pioneer, we could use more like cheap 2 mana removal spells. Like besides just Deck and Stone for white, and a Braid, and Assassin's Trophy, and like what Doomblade and Murders effects.
I think you get into weird things where if every color has every card, like that's not as fun. Like I like the color identity of things.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
just trying to give everything to every color. It's like, okay, well, this is no longer fun. It's just pick a fucking color and go with it. It doesn't really matter at that point.
Well, the card identity for white, I think, is the main issue. Is that the card identity for white has always been like enchantment matters, life gain, like kind of like parallel effects, like balance effects, where enchantments are the weakest card type in all of Magic. So either bump up the power level enchantments or just fucking start forgetting about it.
Life gain, enchantments are the weakest.
Yeah, like, and I think that's by a country mile. I don't think it's particularly close in the slightest. Life gain just inherently is not good. Like the second you start getting magic, then you realize, oh, gaining life doesn't matter. So stop making that a thing. Like, sure, it could be a passive thing, but like that shouldn't be a main focus on a color because it doesn't actually matter. And
not anymore. It used to though.
Yeah, sure, it used to. But then with the balance effects, make better either make better hate bears, or just if you're going to lean white into like the aggressive like go wide strategy, make better aggressive creatures.
See, I agree with the go wide aggressive creatures like Savannah Lions, shit like that. They have done that. They reprinted Savannah Lions 3 different times by now. There's many 1 mana 2/1 creature. However, there's a lot better creatures in other colors.
Look at fucking Chain Whirler.
Red.
Like Chain Whirler is the best aggressive creature.
Let me go back to the hate bears thing. I think they should not make hate bears better because that you play a very fine line where then you're going to start getting hate bears banned because there's not a hate bear that's like, oh, this is so fucking overpowered. It's miserable to play against.
Yeah, but there's still other things that they could put on hate bears that as long as the spell, as long as it says spells can still kill this creature, hate bears will never be overpowered. Ever.
Like, what hate bear would you like to see printed?
I would like to see a Ristic Study on a creature.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I would, but like Wizards is never going to do something like that. Is my thing, and like the fact that we're having this conversation and you on the not white side and me on the white side are saying, yeah, that would be totally okay, means that they just need to put more effort into printing these creatures.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I personally don't think white is the worst color. I don't like it. There are definitely weaker colors, although. To be fair, green for a long time was the shittiest of colors. And then people were like, hey, let's fucking bump up green. And then all this shit gets banned from green. I have a feeling that may happen with white if they try to too aggressively make it.
I would be cool with that because then, I mean, it would affect legacy and it would also affect maybe the mentality that they're looking at white, and them at least focusing on it and maybe pushing it too far is better than them not looking at it at all.
I'm saying I think white is fine and very well balanced with every other color, minus the ability to draw a card. I was talking to you before the podcast. There is one thing that they could do that would be perfectly fine. 2-mana sorcery spell, 1 colorless and a white. If an opponent has more cards in their hand than you do, draw 2 cards.
Yeah, and that was something. Yeah, that is something that we did talk about right before. Of how can we put maybe a draw aspect onto white, and that does fit into the balance category of it. Because there was another conversation on Twitter saying, "Oh, what is the best draw spell in each color?" And people were saying the red ones, like pretty obviously Wheel of Fortune or Faithless Looting or something like that. You got like
Wheel of
Ancestral
Fortune.
Recall out of blue.
Do not ever compare Wheel of Fortune and Faithless Looting in the same sentence again.
Well, I mean, it's people coming from different worlds, right?
The Faithless Looting is on the level of
I will respect
fucking
people coming
Wheel
from,
of
like,
Fortune.
The modern wheelhouse as far as the wheelhouse.
Yeah, if you're going to talk modern, yeah, that's fine. Just don't randomly throw a fucking Wheel of Fortune in there and think that it's the same as Faithless Looting.
Oh, it's definitely not the same. No, Wheel of Fortune is significantly better. But I will respect that opinion if you're coming from a different world. But there's also like blue, you have like Recall. If you're coming from like a modern aspect, you have Opt and Thought Scour and shit like that. If you're coming from a black aspect, there's like a million different ones you could probably choose.
Well, Bob
Night's
is
Whisper.
probably arguably the best.
Which one?
Bob.
Yeah, but Dark Confidant's a really good one. Night's Whisper is like a just generic draw card. If you really want to go deep on it, Necropotence, that's a pretty good one.
That's modern.
And right now, Bolas's Citadel? Is that a draw spell?
No, yes, that card's very fucking good.
And then green, you have things like, you have like Once Upon a Time. You have Ancient Stirrings.
Yeah, before that, it was Ancient Stirrings. That was it. That's all they really had. And to be fair, it's fucking really good.
I mean, there's other things that green wants to do, like Farseek.
Searching lands, ramping.
I think you're still drawing a card, though.
You got ramping, and you got big fucking dumb idiots who just smash.
And I guess the question was with that, also you have Glimpse of Nature in green. Like, that's a real, very, very, very powerful draw spell.
Yeah, that card was also a very clearly mistake, though. Like that.
Yeah, but it's a card that is still legal in multiple formats.
It's legal in Legacy and
Legacy. Commander too, I think, right? If you want to do that thing.
Does it really fucking matter if it's
probably
legal
not
in that?
But then what are the white? Like, what's the white answer for that? And there were a couple recurring ones. Like people were saying land tax as their white one. I'm like, sure, yeah, that's fine. I don't hate that. But also, you have to wait an entire turn cycle for that to be a thing.
There is that new enchantment. I forget what set it's from, but whenever someone else draws a card, it's not really drawing cards.
You make it gold,
but it ramps fuck out of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Smothering Tides.
Tides.
Yeah, Tides.
Tids.
It's the lack of tooth. I can't pronounce things correctly.
So there are things that try to balance it out, but there's not just like a raw, I'm going to draw cards. And I don't think that that's been White's color identity ever.
And it's not. And there have been some cards that have kind of moved to like a kind of value-y, cantrippy thing. You mentioned before, Stoneforge Mystic does that really, really well.
That probably is the best modern era cards, even Legacy era.
Like
is
white
the best
card
white card. Spell? Yeah, that's the best, probably the best white creature, arguably. The best white creature.
Yeah, Thalia's up there. There are a couple other ones.
There. I'm just saying that it basically cantrip is what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
Only instead of cantripping, you get to go fucking tutor.
Yeah, other options with that are kind of like, like Thraben Investigator for 1 mana. Knight of the White Orchids, pretty good.
To go get to basic planes if your opponent controls more lands, white, 2/2 first strike.
That's the one.
Fucking come to daddy.
This isn't accumulated knowledge. Get your boner down.
Yeah, but there are white and another color cards. Like you got Knight of the Reliquary.
Yeah, there's pseudo cantrips.
Really good. Yeah, you got other stuff. I don't think I would like if they would just print some raw fucking ancestral type card where it's, hey, draw 3 cards.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would like that either.
One thing that would be cool, kind of like the balancing act of, hey, if you have more cards than me, I'm gonna draw cards, or if it's they did this before with hey, if you have X or more life, you get a fucking awesome bonus.
Yes, they did do
Like
that.
like that 1/1 that turns into a fucking 6/6 fly.
Sarah
Send
sent it.
it.
Sarah
Yeah.
sent it. Yep.
It would be cool if they did something like that. That was if it was like a 1 in a white. If you have 30 or more life, draw 3 cards. Sorcery.
See, 30 or more life is so fucking lame though, because it's only a commander card at that point.
No, it's not.
I mean, but then you have to put in a fucking lot of work to gain that 10 life.
Or if you have more life than your starting life total. How about that?
I think basing it off of life total is shitty. I don't like that.
White does that, and there's a lot of other things. Or if your opponent has
with white though, that's my thing.
Take out the life gain and make it passive. You did say that before.
Yeah, or stop making it like a life gain matters thing. I think that's shitty. I don't like that as white at all.
I do like the balancing thing, but I think if you do that and like the card thing would probably work. If you're going off like their life versus your life, that gets real sketchy because then there's Death Shadow just plays fucking white and it's hey, you have more life than me. I get to draw cards.
Yeah,
I get a free, but I literally get a bonus for something that I want to do anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. So that makes black and white play together really well, which I kind of think is a cool dynamic anyway. But like you don't want it to be too powerful. I get is the point you're trying to make.
So I think that's where the balancing act comes in. I do think that the cards in hand is probably the easiest one, because that does let you go fast and wide. It lets you play a lot of low drop creatures, and kind of lets you, which if that's what white wants to do, I think the biggest issue is they need to pick a direction they're going to go with this color identity and go with it. Because if you look prior to Modern, what were rituals? They all made black. Every single ritual. And then they're like, hey, let's turn this on a dime and let's make this red.
Yeah, this is a way red thing.
And they haven't fucking turned back since.
Nope.
If they want to do something like that, go for it. Lean into it, but make sure it's not ridiculous.
Even in the most recent set, the most recent ritual we have is only a couple months old and it's red.
Yeah.
I think with white, if you're going to make it do any kind of cantrippy kind of thing, the way to do it is, like you said, with some kind of check, like the Knight of the White Orchid. It looks to see if your opponent has more lands. If they do, go get a land. Cool, great. Or do something like the Thraben Investigator thing, where it comes in and then at some point in time you can cash it in for a card.
They did try to do that with that Prince, whatever card that was. When it comes in, it has 3 abilities.
Oh, like Charming Prince with a Scry.
Yeah. Instead of Scry, it could do Scry 2, draw a card.
Yeah.
Or draw a card, Scry 1, or like an opt, something like that.
That would have been really cool. I mean, I love Charming Prince as it is, and I was actually playing that in Legacy.
I'm saying they could do something like that on a creature.
They could do that. That is actually super
in the white ability.
That is something that is definitely an option.
Some of my favorite creatures are the creatures that are modal, like Knight of
Autumn.
Knight of Autumn. That's it.
Yeah.
You can choose one of these 3 things. Okay, hey, this creature comes in. You can choose non-creature spells cost 1 more, or non-white spells cost 1 more, or gain 2 life. Or
that would be a freaking awesome card.
Let's draw a card. Like it just cantrips itself. Something like that.
Let's do like a 3-mana card. Let's do a 3-mana 2/2. And it says it has
1 white.
It's 1 white. When it enters the battlefield, you scry 2 cards, draw a card, or 1 white enters the battlefield.
It would have to be the other way. Scry 2, draw a card is preordained, and that is too good for Modern, I think.
For 1 white though?
Maybe not, I guess.
1 white on a 2/2. I think that would be totally fine.
3 mana doing it, I guess. Yeah, I suppose that's not ridiculous.
Yeah, so you have 3 modes. You have the 1 mode does the scry 2 draw card. The next mode does creatures you control or other creatures you control get a +1/+1 because that's very white.
Yeah, Anthem effect.
It's just Glorious Anthem on a creature on a 2/2.
For 3 mana is actually kind of shitty though.
I mean, but that would still be a relevant ability on the card.
No. I agree. I'm just saying like that.
And then you could do the 3rd mode be like destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Or return artifact or enchantment from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah, something like that. Like that card would be so good. I would play that card.
Yeah,
Just having the options of the white things to do on a card would be so sick.
Yeah, and I think if they would lean into doing that, that's fine. Or it's something like, hey, if your opponent controls more land, go get a basic.
Yeah, just pull like the Night of the White Orchid thing.
Or actually, what I'm thinking is, if your opponent has more cards than you, draw a card. If your opponent has more lands than you, go get a basic. If they can have more life than you, gain 3 life or something. And it would do
So kind of like
all 3 of them. It checks all 3 of them. If any of those things are true, those all trigger.
Qualifies.
One of them, each one would trigger for each if.
Fucking timely reinforcements. That is the most white card ever.
Yeah, I like that. Like that style of thing.
That is so good. Fuck yes. So we fixed white wizards. You're welcome.
Yeah, fucking figure it out. You can make that check payable to on Twitter at it's pop.
No. You make that check payable to at fetch_shock, and then just sponsor us. You post it. Just post the the podcast on the mothership, and we'll just have all the fucking viewer dollars
stop playing Magic. So many people would say, "Go fuck yourself.
True.
We're not playing Magic anymore."
We're gonna make a Patreon, and all of the people who are subscribing because we fixed white are gonna be like, "Oh, these guys deserve $100 of our dollars per month." And they're just gonna start feeding us money.
I'll let that roll to you, dog.
So that's the plan. We fixed the color of white, and now we're gonna collect our millions
of pesos,
of Canadian dollars. We're playing with Monopoly money.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's one more thing I guess we got to talk about on this lovely evening. Yeah, so we got our stipulations for the final round of the Content Creator Community Cup for our deck building, and it is a spicy one. So our stipulation for this round is 60 card singleton, and we can only make a deck out of cards from 2 sets. And our 2 sets are Throne of Eldraine and Guilds of Ravnica. And it's the standard ban list, and we cannot have multiple cards like 7 Dwarves and shit like that. So we have to somehow build a 60 pile of cards from these 2 sets.
I still think the best is going to be just to fucking make a mana curve, maybe have some synergies, some pump spells, and just fucking put them to 0.
Yeah? You think that's where this is heading?
A 2/2 on turn 2 is still pretty decent.
A 2/2 on turn 2 will still swing for 2 on turn 3.
Yep, I think getting that curve down, maybe a little bit of disruption or some burn to kind of finish her off.
Sure. Well, my initial thought when hearing our stipulation was Guilds of Ravnica is built around the guilds, right?
Yes.
So those cards are focused towards the power level of those guilds instead of individual, like 5 color power level. So if we stick with the guilds, we're going to have at least a little bit more focused of a deck. And the best guilds in that format, in my opinion, were like Izzet and Dimir.
Yes. This is also going to be singleton, which...
And that's the point you brought up,
I think does matter. It's very hard to have a control deck in a singleton format outside of Commander, where you get some very fucking powerful cards to help with, and you're playing against 4 other people.
Yeah, we just don't get the ability to have the redundancy as far as those go.
I'm thinking either hyper aggressive or like just solid mid range, good stuff that will get the job done.
I do kind of like the aggressive.
Not pretty, just a fucking blunt object that's gonna bash fate.
Yeah, so
you don't always need to kill people with a samurai sword. Sometimes a fucking roofing hammer will work.
Roofing hammer. Well, so the guilds that we have to work with, as far as Guilds of Ravnica goes, are Dimir, Izzet, Gruul, Selesnya, and Golgari. So just
we also don't have.
No, go ahead.
We don't have any stipulations outside of the sets.
No.
Yes, which is, I think,
besides the singleton thing,
distinction. Yeah,
it's a free for all. So out of those sets, if we're going just we want to turn dumb idiot sideways, I mean that is just the moniker of Gruul, right?
Gruul or Boros. Or
Boros is in that too. Not Gruul. It is Golgari and Boros.
Yeah, there's not much crossover there. Or if it was Gruul and Golgari, you could cross that over.
Yeah, it's not.
Or
so
Boros
we don't have access to the Gruul stuff. Gruul is in the next Ravnica.
Yeah.
So we could do Selesnya. We could just do the go wide strategy.
I think that's kind of hard with Singleton as well.
But there's some decent power level as far as the crossover between Boros and Selesnya.
I think the game plan should be, what are the best 40-ish cards from these two sets?
Yeah, just narrow it down from there.
Can we then go from there? Okay, which one has the most? Which one has the second most? Is that a deck? I don't think we necessarily have to stick with a guild or a themey deck.
Oh, we don't have to keep it themey?
No. We can fuck around and just go, sure, let's just play good cards and smash face.
I don't hate that idea. Maybe that's what we'll end up doing.
That's where I'm currently at with that.
We're going to have to sit down and parse through the cards that are available in this format, because not vastly familiar with the shit that is going on.
No, nor am I, and I only heard about it right before we started recording.
Yeah, so you are about an hour and a half into knowing this.
Yes, and the only thing I really know about guilds is the surveil mechanic is pretty good.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that mechanic is very, very powerful.
Arguably the best in that set, just because it is. It's very good. If you had
the flashback
from a limited.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, the flashback mechanic in that limited format was pretty sweet, too. What's it called? I don't remember what the is it mechanic was called.
Not retrace. No, it is. You discard a card and you can cast it.
Yeah, you discard a card and then you can cast a thing from your
Jumpstart.
Jumpstart. There you go. It was Jumpstart. We nailed it. Hell yeah. That card, that mechanic was sweet, at least in limited, but I don't know how practical that would be in the constructed format that we're going to be playing.
Yeah, I'm not
just because of Singleton.
Although it does give the really good Jumpstart spells more gumption. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
I think Surveil is also good in a Singleton because you get to dig a little bit.
Oh, that's very true. You can. It's almost like how you just like get to just take garbage off of the top of your library, put it in your graveyard, call it a day.
Yep.
I do like that. Maybe that's the direction we'll go.
Yeah, we got some shit we can do, and they kind of work well together. You can surveil them into your graveyard, then cast them from your graveyard.
They do, yes. So we have a lot of things to discuss with this.
Yeah, that we do.
Oh boy. Well, we're going to be mulling over that for the next week or so, and then we'll come back with exactly what we decided to end up doing for this, because it is probably going to be a actual pile of.
That's probably the best bet. Don't even worry about surveil. If it has surveil, hey, cool, this has surveil. Do that.
Sure. Yeah, we should just throw everything against the wall, and if it sticks, it sticks.
Yeah.
That seems correct. All right. Well, I think that's all we got for our normal episode. The only thing we have left is our game.
That we do, sunshine.
Now, do you remember who is playing this week? Because I do not.
It is me playing, I believe.
Ooh, I think you were 100% right, because last week with Thanksgiving, and you made me do the bird
turkey,
game.
The birds, yep.
Oh, jeez. God, that was the fucking worst thing ever. But so Matt is playing the game this week, and our game, if you're not familiar, is called Accumulated Knowledge. So every week we play a game where we go onto the Scryfall website and we hit the random card button and we produce a random card. The person asks the name of the card, and the recipient of the name has to give the mana cost of the card. If they get it right, they get a point, and if they don't, then they have to wallow in their own sorrow. Matt needs 4 out of 5 to win the game, and then he also only gets 2 hints because we
hints. Yeah.
Yes, we redacted the 3 hints to only put in 2. So, Matt, are you ready?
I am ready.
This is a pretty good one. I also think you might get it. It is Perplexed.
Pretty sure that's blue black.
Is it?
No, it's
that's
blue
Demir.
Black, not is it?
It's Demir.
I'm pretty sure this is one black blue. I'm pretty sure it has transmute, and it counters unless they do something. Probably, I think discard a card or all the cards.
Ooh.
So I know the converted mana cost is one black blue.
Okay, cool. That is very correct. You're very close with the text of the card too.
I know it transmutes, and I know it counters a spell, but it's not a hard counter.
Yeah, so Perplex is, like Matt said, 1 blue-black for an instant speed spell, and it says counter target spell unless its controller discards his or her hand.
I didn't know if it was like one card or all of them. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah, it's you discard their entire hand, and then it also, yes, it does have transmute for one a blue and a black. So you discard the card and then you search your library for a card with the same converted mana cost. So you got that one pretty much spot on. Are you ready for the
I like
next
that card because I used to play. At first, I
you
thought it
like
was
the transmute stuff.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the next one?
I am ready.
So it is Sky Shroud Vampire.
Is this from Tempest?
It could be.
Sounds like a fucking Tempest.
A lot of things sound like Tempest cards, if we're going to be honest. Tempest is a fucking weird set.
I know it's black, obviously.
What part gave you that? The Sky Shroud of the Vampire?
The vampire part.
Could be red.
I'm pretty sure it's 4 or 5 mana.
Could be white, too.
It's not. Vampires aren't white. No, I guess they are. Shit.
They definitely are. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself, bud.
I know it's 4 or 5.
Ooh.
I know it is.
Can I get a final answer?
Let me go. I'm going to go 5. 3 black.
Is that your final answer?
I think so. Yes, so.
You garbage fucking person.
Is this from Tempest?
It is 3 black, and it is from Tempest.
Yeah, I thought so.
You are trash. I can't believe it.
I know it's a flyer.
Yeah, that turns out. Yeah, the Sky Shroud Vampire is a 3 black vampire
I'll
flyer.
do one better. It's from the cycle where you discard a card and it gets a bonus.
What is the bonus, though?
I don't know.
Well, first of all, you have to discard a creature card, so how dare you?
I would have got that wrong.
Yep. But yeah, you discard a creature card, and Sky Shroud Vampire gets a +2/+2 until the end of turn.
I used to have
if it tastes one drop of Elf's blood, I will cast it from the shroud to see it burn.
It's badass.
Pretty good. Pretty good flavor text. Not bad at all. Are you ready for your next one? Your third one?
I am indeed.
It's Copperhorn Scout.
This is a green. Oh, this is 1 green. It's whenever it attacks, everything has to block it.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I knew you were going to get this one too. From Scars of Mirrodin. Yep, it is exactly that. 1 green. Whenever Copperhorn Scout attacks, untap each other creature you control. So you were off.
Oh no, I got that part wrong.
Yeah,
there is
an elf
that does that though.
But you were right on the mana cost.
Yeah, that one's easy.
Well, these last two are for all the Marlboros, I guess. So the next one, are you ready for the next one?
I only have to get 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you miss this one, then the last one's wrong.
I got you.
Then the next one is Impale.
I'm pretty sure that's is this shit? This is the only good removal spell in a set.
Is it now?
No, I think it's black or white. It's the vampires, that set.
Ooh. Were you talking about white vampires? But you said there were none.
Actually, yes, that one.
White vampires don't exist.
So I want to be cocky and just fucking guess.
Ooh. I love that. Actually, I don't think me giving you the text would actually help this one at all.
Pretty sure it's destroy a target creature.
Oh, maybe my text would help you then. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to need a final answer now.
I know it's from the Ixalan block. I don't know what. I'm pretty sure it's black because there's the blinding light or whatever one.
Ho ho! He thinks he's slick, knowing Ixalan.
I want to say this is 2 black.
Are you going to answer with that, or are you going to...
I'm going to answer with that.
2 black. Final answer.
Final answer.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Is it Ixalan or is it the other one?
It is from Rivals of Ixalan, yes.
Rivals.
So it is, 2 black, destroy target creature at sorcery.
Yeah, I thought so. I wouldn't have guessed the sorcerer.
Well, you fucking got it, bud. Do you want your last one?
You're goddamn right I want my last one.
It is Charnel Horde Worm.
Charnel Horde Worm?
Charnel Horde Worm. He's a good one. Yeah, good luck with this one, bud.
Pretty sure this is from the new Commander set, isn't it?
It could be.
Give me a hint.
What hint would you like?
Give me the text.
So Charnel Horde Worm has trample, and it also says, whenever Charnel Horde Worm deals damage to an opponent, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is a weird one.
I don't know. 4 in a green.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Cool, because it is 4 and Jund.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It is a 6/6. Yeah, this card's a beast. So it is 4 black, red, green with that same text. It is a creature worm, and it is a 6/6. That card is bonker. It is from originally printed in Conflux, but I think it is from Commander 2018.
I've never seen that in Conflux. With how many times I've drafted Conflux, never saw it.
It is a rare, so that's fair.
Yeah, I guess that helps.
Yeah, that does make
doesn't help.
We're not seeing it in draft. Well, I mean, you totally blew it on.
Yeah, I fucked up on the last one.
You totally blew it on the worm, but you did still win. So that means you get the shout out for the week.
So my shout out for the week is actually someone who used to have their own podcast, and it was apparently rather glorious. And it is Maddie from Heavy Meta. You can find him on Twitter at Maddie Studios. And Tyler, you were telling me that they're doing some sort of comeback special.
Holy shit, yes. Fucking Heavy Meta. So, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Heavy Meta, there probably wouldn't be a podcast called like Fetch and Shock. There probably wouldn't be a podcast like half the ones like that we associate with. Like, oh, I guarantee you if Lands Could Kill would not exist with Corey if it wasn't for Heavy Meta.
I wish they wouldn't fucking exist. Just kidding, Corey.
Yeah, just kidding. Love you, buddy. But also fuck off. Yeah, like they would not exist without Heavy Meta. Heavy Meta was the best podcast, like in the early to mid 2000s for Magic, and they just talked shit about everything constantly. And they had another guy on there called Heavy Meta, and he was just obnoxious. Like he was just obnoxiously drunk every episode, and it was
fucking
great.
Degenerates.
It was great. So honestly, they are doing a Christmas special. So go back and you go back and listen to old episodes, or just wait. And we're definitely going to retweet when they release the Christmas special. But they do a Christmas special every year where they get together with the original cast and just do ignorant shit. So look forward to that because it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, that sounds super sweet. I plan on listening to that.
Oh, I'm going to make you listen to old episodes too because there is a whole fucking myriad of bullshit that is flawless.
Sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, so shout out to Heavy Meta, shout out to Maddie Studios, shout out to Heavy Metal, shout out to TSG, all the people from that cast because they're all phenomenal. And I saw that they were going to be getting together to do a holiday episode, and I was immediately just like, "Yep, okay, we're on board. Let's fucking go." They should just have us on if they want it completely derailed.
Yeah, that's what we're known for, going off on ridiculous tangents.
Yeah, we have the capacity to throw things completely off kilter.
That's what makes it fun.
That's what we're all about, dude. Well, I mean, to throw things back on kilter, if we were to be on Twitter and people wanted to find us, where do you think that they would find us?
I don't know. I'm not on Twitter.
Yes, you are. Your Twitter is @itsbob.
Oh yeah, that's right. Super simple.
But if people wanted to find me on Twitter, they would be able to find me at Basic Land Bin. And if you wanted to find the Fetch and Shock podcast on Twitter, you would be able to find it at Fetch_Shock.
Seems like a good place to look.
Yeah, if you were going to find one place to get something, that would be the place to get the something.
That's the place to fucking do it, I guess.
There's another place, too, that I was thinking of. If you wanted to get something, and if that something was Magic cards, that place would be flipsidegaming.com.
Yeah, that seems like a good place to go.
Again, they'll save your life.
They will.
All you have to do is go there,
will.
and you won't get stabbed. You just go to you just go to flipsidegaming.com and order your cards there, and then you don't have to go out into the world and risk getting stabbed.
Get fucking shivved.
And you also get 10% off if you use code FETCH at checkout. So we're saving you money. We're saving your life.
God,
what more could you ask
what
from
don't
us?
we do?
That we do literally everything for everybody.
We're basically the nicest people ever.
Again, we are saints.
Pretty fucking close.
We will be
one other thing that I wanted to. Everyone fucking riot against PayPal. Fuck them. Use Venmo.
The anti-PayPal campaign has begun. Well, dude, you don't have to use PayPal to buy cards from flipsidegaming.com. So.
Thank fucking Christ.
So fuck PayPal, and I guess that's it. That's the message.
Well, dude, I will talk to you later.
Yeah, we're gonna do this again next week. I will go try to dismantle PayPal brick by brick, and I will report back.
Sounds good. I expect everyone to stop using them.
Perfect. All right, peace out, nerds.
Peace. Goodbye.